Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Vanarama National League, finally! Hello and welcome to part 32 of Backing the Boro. I'm Kev. Coming up on today's episode, we have our first match of life in the Vanarama National League away against Gloucester. And then we're going to... Gloucester, I mean, they're as bad as us, aren't they? Ooh, I mean, they got promoted 3 years ago, so not quite as bad as us, but... they're traditionally a team from our level. And we're also going to have a look at the summer of transfers that we've had. And it has been a busy old summer. We'll start with looking at the released players. And there are some regular first teamers from last year who haven't made the step up with us. Purely because they either wanted too much money, they didn't want to renew, or I didn't think they were ending up going to be good enough. So Jamie Grimes played a lot of games for us last year. But I think he may be close to ever present. He's gone. Darren McQueen. He had a decent season. He's our top scorer. Making him captain ruined the season. I've let him go so that I can take the captaincy off him without having a dressing room revolt. I know I shouldn't have given him the captaincy in the first place. Paul Tyson was our backup keeper last year. He's gone. Shola Rayula. I almost kept him, but in the end, I think I've signed better options. Adam Lewis looked like he was going to be great 2 years ago, but injuries just ruined him. So he's gone. Lois Maynard never made it into the team, really. Neither did Lewis Freestone. Alex Willis had a number of opportunities over a couple of seasons, never really capitalised on them. Zidane Akers may have even been my very first signing at Nuneaton, way back, and hasn't featured at all since. So I don't even know how he was still at the club. AJ George is another one I didn't realise was still here, so we've let him go. And Alex Patterson, once again, how was he still here? He's gone. So we've freed up a lot of space. We've also sent Luca Ercolani out on loan. We're paying all of his wages, and he's still our best defender. But we can't play him. We're never going to be able to play him. We're never going to see him again. And Joel Kaduba as well left. Went to Queen of the South. I forgot we signed him. I knew we had him for Bath. I forgot we signed him in this one as well. And these are the players that we brought in. So not loads. There are going to be some loan players who join these once I get an idea of where we need them. Because at the moment, if I look at the team report page, we actually look fairly strong throughout. The only thing we really need is a goalkeeper. But yeah, I don't know. I want to actually see it for myself before I waste my loans on stuff we don't really need. So the new players, Livesey Mason, 3-star current ability, 5-star potential, 20-year-old striker, quick striker, thought he was going to be the answer, got shin splints, out for 3 months, he's still 3 to 7 weeks out, so we're not going to see him play today. Tinashi Chakwana is a 22-year-old. Again, he's Zimbabwean. I guess he's actually playing for them. I was thinking for a second there, how do we get him but we can't get Luca Ercolani? But it's because he's actually been playing for Zimbabwe, so that's how he's managed to get himself a work permit. 2.5-star current ability, 4-star potential, can play on either wing. Not planning to use him as a regular starter, but he's quick and he'll play games here and there. We've signed quite a few wingers. It's not like me, I know. Reese Abrazazi is a 23-year-old Welsh left-back, 3-star current ability, 4-star potential. He comes in from Torquay, was previously at Cardiff. Jack Redshaw, a legend of the lower leagues. I can't believe we've managed to sign Jack Redshaw. This was why we let Ayula go, because we saw Redshaw. I don't know if he's still the player he once was. He's only showing us 3-star current ability, but he's only 30 years old, and it's only, 3 seasons since he got 32 goals in 37 appearances for Salford in this division. Didn't really play for him last year, only started 4 games, made a lot of substitute appearances for whatever reason. Sorry, that was the year before last, their promotion year, and then didn't feature at all for them in League 2 last year. So he's had a couple of years where really I think Salford have outgrown him, but I remember him doing that when we were in the same league as him, and I remember trying to sign him when he was doing that. And, he's top scorer in this division 2 years ago and he's still only 30. I think that's a signing and a half. Yannick Aziakanu is a 22-year-old Togolese centre-back who again... And now, seriously, how have we got a work permit for this lad? Oh, because he's got another nationality of English. Okay, I'll allow it. Where did he go? 2.5-star current ability, 4-star potential. Just going to be a backup centre-back for us. Has been at FC United previously. Was at Newcastle at the start of the game. Kingsley James is a 29-year-old central midfielder, ball-winning midfielder, 2.5-star current ability. Bit of an iffy one, this one. I signed him purely based on experience at this level. Been down that road before. Might be a bit of a mistake. Jack Hartley can play on either wing. Full disclosure, I signed him because his name was Hartley and I like the romance of it. But he can play on either wing. He's natural on either side. 23 years old, 3-star current ability, 3.5-star potential ability. Hasn't really played at this level before, but my assistant manager reckons he's our best option on the right wing and almost as good as what we've got over on the left. So I think that's a decent sign-in. Frank Earl is another backup centre-back for us, 19 years old, 2.5-star current ability, 4.5-star potential. A lot of these players started at Premier League clubs and passed through Spennymoor last season without playing any games for them. I don't know what Spennymoor are up to. They seem to be bringing in Premier League youngsters with loads of potential, not giving them any games, and then releasing them again, only for us to sign them. Jack Howells is a 30-year-old Welsh left winger, 3.5-star current ability. Has been playing league football, not regularly, but when he was at this level, he did play regularly and was a decent option on that left-hand side. Something a little bit different from what we've got over there as well. He's a defensive winger, something I think we might need this season on occasion. Tyreek Hyde is a 22-year-old central midfielder, 2.5-star current ability, 3-star potential. He's come in to provide a little bit of cover in the middle. Probably a bit of a luxury that we didn't need, but we had loads of spare wage budget, so I just signed a few extra players. Luke Hannant is the reason we don't really need Hyde. He's probably going to end up being our best central midfielder. 27-year-old, 3.5-star current ability. Has played loads of games at this level for Gateshead, but similar to with Redshaw, didn't feature at all last year. I don't know if that meant he was released by them really early on, but it wasn't that he had a really long injury. He just went from being a start every game player for years to all of a sudden, we're not going to play you at all this season. It was an odd one. And then lastly, Henry Cowns is another central midfielder. I've packed it out just in case we need to go for a 4-3-1-2. I haven't actually checked what the transfer window rules are in the National League. And I didn't want to get caught short if the wingers just weren't working. So we signed a lot of wingers and a lot of central midfielders. So I guess a 4-5-1 or something is an option at some point as well. He's 25 years old, 3-star current ability. Again, had a little taste of league football, a little taste at this level. Not played a lot of games in his career. Not sure how good he is. So I would say mixed transfer window. A lot of the players I tried to sign I couldn't get. There are loan players we're trying to identify but struggling a little bit. We're struggling with players who we want not wanting to come to us, but we have got a little bit of wage budget left. So I think if we have a decent start to the season, we might just be able to get a couple more in players in positions that we need them. So this team we're starting the new season with will look very familiar. I'm being loyal to start the season. We've got new signings sat down on the bench who will come in if we need them, and this will gradually start to change. But I'm very wary of the dynamics. Match cohesion is poor. Everything else is excellent or very good, but match cohesion is poor. So I'm trying to put a combination of players together who should have good familiarity, good cohesion, and then slowly introduce the new players to the team. I'll probably abandon it completely if we lose 6-0 and just bring in all the new ones. But for now, this seems like the logical way forward. So we've got Linus in goal, who did re-sign. We talked about it towards the end of last season, how he was refusing a new contract. Eventually, after promotion, did agree to sign for another year. I'd still like to find a better keeper than him, but such a thing doesn't seem to exist in our price range / reputation range. So Linus is going to be in goal. A back four of Anderson, Laskowski, who is the youngster we played a little bit at the end of last season, 17 years old, now actually better than Ercolani, as good as Lionel Stone, still with 5-star potential. If he's as good as my coaches reckon he is, he's going to be a superstar who we won't keep hold of. He could be our first player who moves on to a higher level, apart from Nicholson, I guess, but we let him go on a free. By the way, he's available on a free again now. Not interested in coming back. I did try. Stone and Birch make up the rest of the back four, and then we've got Smith, Elliott, Brundle and Hornsby in midfield. Hornsby's on loan for another year. And then Tyrone Marsh up front with Sedwin Scott. Scott managed to stick around at the club because my coaches reckon he's our best striker. It just clearly wasn't working for him last year for whatever reason. But his average rating was good. He just didn't score a lot of goals. So we'll give him another try. He's got 4.5 solid stars of potential. So there must be something about him. And hopefully he shows us what that something is. Oh, and Northampton offered us money for Tyrone Marsh. £5,000. I wouldn't sell him to you for $1 million, Northampton. But I'm not selling him to anyone for £5,000, especially as our guy who I've earmarked as the replacement for him is injured. I'm thinking probably if Scott is as good as he's supposed to be, as the season goes on, he'll become a target man on support, and either Livesey or the Salford guy who's Redshaw, one of those two will play as a poacher or an advanced forward ahead of him, because I guess Scott perhaps isn't ever going to be a guy who gets 30 goals in a season for us. I toyed with the idea of pushing Marsh further forward and having Scott on support today, but Tyrone Marsh scored his goal a game last year, always playing as defensive forward on support, and it seems silly to take him away from that in a game where I expect we're probably going to lose. So we want to give Tyrone as much opportunity as possible to try and grab a goal or two for us, because I don't see that there's much other goal threat in this team that we've got. I am a little bit fearful for what this season might hold. Elvis O'Tim, we had him in non-league to legend. Assuming it is him and there's not multiple O'Tims who play on the right wing down at this level. It's E.O. Tim. I think there's a good chance that's Elvis O'Tim who we had at Bath. I think we had him. Right, how are we doing? 51% possession. We are playing on a defensive mentality today, which I don't really like doing, but I'm afraid. And Brundle's already on a yellow card and still getting tackles in midfield. We might have to keep an eye on him. And we have got Joe Wheatley on the bench who could come on to replace him. But obviously not if he's sent off, because that's not how red cards work. Tyrone Marsh is in, but can't quite connect with it. And Elliott fires a shot straight into their keeper's hands. And we've not looked completely out of place. I'm not sure Gloucester are the best yardstick of how we're going to get on at this level. Marsh is in! Tyrone Marsh has his first goal in the National League. He's got 1-in-1 again. He's goal a game Tyrone. That's all he does. He just scores goals, and it is the first assist of the season for Sebwin Scott. We need to be keeping an eye on him, because it will be a weird situation if we have an advanced forward who's just an assist machine and an offensive forward who scores all the goals. That kind of breaks everything I know about how Football Manager is supposed to work. But as we all know, and we've learned over time, I don't really know how Football Manager works anyway. So there's every chance that that's a formation, that's a front two that's supposed to work in exactly that way. It's 1-1. I mean, that lasted a long time, didn't it? Shh. Okay, don't get too disheartened. We'll be fine. Who are we going to blame for this? Is there any blame to attach? I mean, they are all offside. I mean, we'll blame that row of 5 players who inexplicably all dropped back in unison to play their line of 4 or 5 forwards onside. What was that all about? Why not just hold your line? Ridiculous. And now we've conceded again from a set piece. So set pieces we seem to be struggling a little bit with, and we have given him absolute free rein to just kick it really hard, which wasn't really what I was hoping we would do from set pieces. Who's injured? It just gave us a message saying someone was injured. I didn't catch who it was. We'll check them out at half time. We're practically there anyway. I want to get Jack Redshaw on to see if he's any good. I think we'll probably have to have a look at him at some point in this second half. Scott plays it into Marsh again, though. And Tyrone Marsh, second goal of the game, second assist of the game for Scott. How do you get Redshaw into the team when these two are already forming a partnership? That was beautiful. Hornsby just plays it into Elliott, who to Scott, one touch, perfect through ball to Tyrone Marsh. My coaches know what they're doing after all. Scott clearly has got a little bit about him, and it's Smith who's injured, and we don't really have anyone on the bench who can come on that left wing. Why are there not 7 subs at this level? We've got squad numbers now. Why can't we have 7 substitutes? It's silly. So we're going to have to leave Smith on, and I guess just hope he doesn't get really badly injured. Marsh is through again. Is he going to grab his hat-trick? And it is. I mean, it was a good opportunity. It's a decent save from their keeper. We're actually well ahead for chances, clear-cut and half chances in this game. We're playing quite well. I'm impressed. Scott's taking the corners as well. I haven't told him to do that. He's clearly taken it on himself. Retrain him to be a winger, maybe. That might be an option. We'll look into that. Because he's a 5'10" target man, which I know you lot tell me is fine. I still don't buy it. But if he can play as an advanced forward, if he can take corners, if he can play through balls the way he does, I mean, logically, you drop him back and make him an attacking midfielder, I guess. But we saw with Nicholson, that isn't going to fit into the way we play. So we need to get him out onto one of the wings, really, and make use of his creative juices. Don't say juices ever again, Kev. Right. Brundle. We talked about that substitution early on. That's an easy one. Can Redshaw play left wing? I mean, it's not the ideal way to make your debut, but he has got the number 11 on, so presumably he took that because he can play out there. So he can come on for Smith. Way to break a 30-year-old legendary striker at this level. Give him his debut on the left side of midfield. Show him what he can come to expect in life at Nuneaton. We're not going to give him the respect he got at Salford. Although, to be fair, he's played 5 games in 2 years there, so it wasn't that much respect. Right, Marsh. What can he do? Finds Elliott. Redshaw. First touch in a Nuneaton shirt. It's awful. Now, Scott out there. I wonder if Scott would have done something a little bit different. Perhaps that's who should have gone out wide. I was just talking about making Scott a winger, and then I bring on Mr. Goal a game at this level to play out on the wing instead. Oh, and now we're losing. Curses. Right. Control. Do we go 3 up front? We've got an excellent striker sat there on the bench. Do we do a front 3? Or is that just silly? When we've actually played quite well. We've been the better team in this game by and large. Yeah, we go for it up front. Of course we do. Of course we go for it up front. We always were. There was never any doubt. Because Hornsby can play in the centre of midfield. It's an easy change to make. Let's just get these lot arranged properly. So Scott is going to be the target man. Redshaw is a poacher. Right, so in fact, let's make you target man and attack like you want to be. And then what do you want to be, Hornsby? Should we make you one of these fancy ones? There you go. Get you drifting out wide. And then we've only really got defenders on the bench, so should we bring him on for the other youngster? Get some experience into him. There you go. You just want to defend, do you? I'll allow it. And let's go attack him. In fact, should we be lumping the ball forward now? Probably not. We haven't got a big guy up there. See, if Scott was 5 inches taller, I'd be much more comfortable playing him as a target man. I'm just going to I'll keep going on that one. I still maintain 5'10", not a target man. Right, here we go. We've got to grab our equaliser here. And it's Anderson up to Scott, who is now playing wide as a target man at 5'10". Don't like it. And that was fairly poor. Redshaw and Marsh weren't really alive to what was going on there. I mean, we are trying to get... I was talking about the cohesion of the team. And what do? 75 minutes into the first game of the season, play a completely new tactic that we've never, ever used before in 4 years at the club. That's how you sort cohesion, Kev. But I want to ram these 3 strikers into the same team together. Because look at the goals that Marsh and Redshaw can score. If we can find a way to get Scott creating that, the way he apparently can, we could be scoring goals for fun. But I don't think a 4-3-3 is necessarily the way we're going to do that. And we have lost 4-2 on the first day of our life in the National League. This is going to be a long season. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.